Hi, I'm Shaka Hislop, and you're here at Extra Time TV.
We're going to move on to the next game. Another shocker today, folks. Well, not really a shocker, depending on who you ask. Belgium, Lukaku and his men took on Cristiano Ronaldo and his men, and a lot of people were hailing Portugal as, the potential favorites. Although, a lot of people were focusing on France at the beginning. A lot of people were saying, hey, Portugal looks like they're going to do it. But unfortunately, in the end, they went 1-0 down to Belgium with a goal from Hazard, and not Eden Hazard, but the other Hazard. And James, you could already see the cliches coming and the memes at the end of this video with Hazard. But we'll talk about that at the end. So the goal was scored in the 42nd minute. James, what do you think about this game and Cristiano Ronaldo and his team, which I believe was better than the last Euro team? That's my honest opinion, are not out of the tournament.
This was an interesting game because, it was a firecracker. It was lots of challenges, lots of late challenges, kicking at heels, all of this. it had everything in this game. But I think the goal that Torgan Hazard scored was an absolute fantastic goal. Although, from a goalkeeping point of view, I watched it about 8 or 9 times. I believe Rui Patricio maybe was too far to his right. And if he actually put a little more spring into it, he would have saved it. Because if you look at it, the first time I saw it, I said, great goal. But the second time I watched it, I kept seeing the ball is virtually going down the middle, and then it has a little, swerve away. So I don't know if he'll be disappointed with it. As I say, it's a cracking finish. But from a goalkeeping point of view, maybe he could have done better. But as I say, take nothing away from the goal. I thought Belgium set themselves up very well because I think Ronaldo and his team, and Portugal had a lot of chances. And I think... I still think that maybe Ronaldo's been played out of position. I don't think, in my opinion, he's a striker, a target man. I think he could be playing behind, and I think there was times in the game when he dropped off. And if he had, for example, I'm trying to remember the guy who came on for them, the big striker, which was who was that again? Was it Neves? No, the big tall striker, Oliveira. Yeah, Sergio who came on.
Yeah.
I thought maybe. He's scored, I think, close to 30 goals in the Bundesliga. Now, we know that obviously the reason why the coach is picking like Jota because he's playing in the Premier League, but to me, somebody that scores 30 goals, is a proven goal scorer. So I thought maybe he should have played him as the target man, played Ronaldo just behind him, because to me, obviously, first of all, there's a lack of communication between Jota and Ronaldo. They obviously have a little friction there. Bernardo Silva didn't have a great game. I thought Renato Sanchez was fantastic again in this game. He worked his socks off. But at the end of the day, Portugal just could not find that goal. They tried. Ronaldo had a great free kick, but the technique was absolutely phenomenal. But Courtois had a good save. And again, I think if there was a real striker in there, they would have followed up on that free kick. So I think it's one of those days Portugal will be very disappointed. I thought Lukaku showed his strength just like Sanchez did throughout the game. But it was a firecracker. And at the end of the day, I think Belgium they did more than enough to win the game.
Yes, and Roberto Martinez and his men are known for building their team on a counter-attacking style which suits Lukaku. And, from what I've seen here, it's 44% for Belgium, 56% for Portugal. A lot of people were saying on Twitter and the comment section that, maybe Portugal should have resorted to the ugly football that got them through the last time around. Instead of trying to play football that played into Belgium's hands. What do you think about that?
At the end of the day, if it gets a result, yes, I would agree with it, because I think there was points in the game that, I noticed that, especially from the right-hand side, which I think was Bernardo Silva there was times when Ronaldo was in the box and they were just not crossing it. I don't know if it was because of the lack of quality, to whip the ball in, or if it was just, I don't know what their game plan was, but to me, Portugal set up in 2 kind of phases. They had their defensive phase, which ended up being, to me, like a back 5 at times, because I'm trying to remember this guy that came in. There was a guy dropped in. Paulinho basically dropped right up front, so they had that 5. And then when they were attacking, obviously, it looked more like, their normal 4-3. So they had worked on their style a lot to counteract what obviously Belgium were doing. But to me, it didn't work. I think Santos, the coach, although he tried, as I say, a 1-0 defeat is not a bad result. But you have to remember, although Portugal are the European champions, Belgium are the world's number 1 team. So, and it was a little evident because, as I say, I thought both Hazards were great. I thought Witsel was excellent, especially coming back from his injury that he had. De Bruyne obviously was good, but he went off. and defensively they looked pretty strong. So, I mean, I think this is a Belgian team that will cause anybody problems, and I think Italy will be, I don't want to say quaking in their boots, but they'll be really a little scared to see, I mean, especially coming up against Lukaku and his strength. So.
Yep, all you Cristiano Ronaldo fans, I know there's lots of them out there. I'd really love to hear your thoughts on this because, it's interesting the conversations that take place on social media. For example, when they won the last final, as I said before, they didn't play particularly good football. They played against a France that was, on paper, should have blown them away, to be honest. And France managed to mess that up at the last Euros, and they won. We all know about Ronaldo being injured, on the sidelines coaching, but he pretty much didn't play much of a part in that game. Does Ronaldo once again, take a hit for this? I mean, he's been praised as one of the best goal scorers in the competition. But at the end of the day, is that any consolation for being knocked out now?
I don't think so, because I think, with the exception of Renato Sanchez, probably, I mean, I don't think anybody else around him stepped up. I mean, Ronaldo, to me, did well to get them here. I mean, obviously, you could say some of these goals were penalties, but he comes up big when the team needs him, whether it's a penalty or not. He drives the team on. He kind of, I mean, at the end of the day, he reminds me of, for example, when England had Beckham, that kind of the way that he can galvanise the whole team. So, but I just think, as I say, the rest of the players around him, I mean, Pepe was okay throughout the tournament. I thought Ruben Diaz blew hot and cold. I thought the introduction of Joey Coutinho was good, in the last two games. But I just think, obviously, his age, is catching up on him a little bit too. So I just think he needed a little more quality around him. And at times to me, there was times they were just trying to hit Ronaldo. And, I mean, teams clock onto that, because if you watched, Belgium had two men marking Ronaldo for most of the game. So it meant that he's not going to get touches. They know what to do. So you have to come up with a B plan, and I don't think Portugal had it.
Yep. So at the end of the day, just to end things off, do you think, in terms of coaching, Roberto Martinez, got one over on Santos in this one?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think Roberto Martinez has a fantastic, record himself, but also he has a very good staff there, because I think, he has Thierry Henry there with him. He even has Scottish Sean Maloney, which I was seeing on the touchline at one point, amongst a whole bunch of others. So he's put together a great coaching staff, and I think it says a lot, because they were saying in the commentary that he's 20% attacking, 80% attacking, 20% pragmatic. I mean, I think today he was a little more of that, but he knows when to do it and when not to do it, and I think it says a lot about his coaching ability, because let's be honest, he's not been coaching that long. We can remember him playing, 15 years ago, let's say, so. But he's doing very well. And as I say, there's even that Trinidadian link for those fans that can remember. We won't say it because we know we threw out that question, but there is a Trinidadian link there somewhere.
Yes, of course. And do you think now, it seems like favourites are a tag that have been thrown around a lot now. Does this give Belgium, now that we're looking at the brackets, which we'll put up our updated one, folks, that Belgium, probably starting to think about the big one now? Are they going to go one better than the generations before? Is this golden generation going to finally get that trophy, or do you think that that's maybe a step too far for them still?
I think the biggest game they're going to come up against is our next game, because to beat Italy, who we know have been playing excellent, although they had that little goal that they obviously conceded in extra time. But I think if they can go and beat Italy, I would say they're definite favourites. That game will be the big difference, because as we talked about on the other side, it seems like a little bit of an easier roadway to the final, let's say, because I think, to be honest, the winner of Germany-England, a good chance could make it all the way, obviously Denmark and these teams won't like us saying that, but at the end of the day, if Belgium dispose of Italy, I think it'll be very difficult for anybody to deal with the strengths that Belgium have, although I think they had two injuries which could, impact their team. I think De Bruyne obviously got that injury, and then the other Hazard, obviously Eden Hazard, I think got an injury, so they'll be hoping those two will be back, because those will be key players for them.
Yes. So, folks, cliches and memes abound with these headlines today. Cristiano Ronaldo and his Portugal heads home. Obviously the Dutch were not outright favourites anyway, but still, a lot of people are expecting them to kind of have a decent run in this tournament, and they're now gone. So, the brackets are starting to show who's going to make it and who's not going to make it. And, you know, I even read, you know, James, we're going to end this one just like we ended the funny one before with funny headlines. A lot of people saying, Portugal, you know, met their hazard. You know, hazardous Portugal, whatever.
I saw the hazard on the road before the match, so you know.
Yeah, hilarious, absolutely hilarious. So, you know, it's crazy. So, these guys have the names that are perfect for people on social media and media. So, folks, you know, in addition to those funny lines and you know the mysterious question that we put out, and the mystery answer about the Trinidadian link with Belgium. We'll definitely be paying attention to the other games. We have some big games coming up as well. The fun continues. Lots of football, Copa America as well. We'll have Michael Ragunat come on maybe tomorrow or the day afterwards to talk about some of the controversial calls. He will give us a definitive answer. James and I can, you know, hear from an actual ref, because we know we all have our opinions, you know, from the penalties to the red card today, to even in the Copa America with the goal.
I think that's a good point, Andre, because I think one thing I noticed today is the referees tightened up a lot on, you know, fouls and things. I mean, they seemed a lot tighter today. I mean, although I found the referee in the Belgium-Portugal game was allowing things to happen which he could have stamped down on, but I think I'm noticing, you know, a lot stricter rules in this last round of 16.
Yep, because, you know, the eyes are on them all. So we'll definitely have Michael Ragunat, the ex-FIFA 2002 World Cup and also Confederations Cup and Olympics and many other tournaments. And now he's an instructor to give us the answer. So why not ask a ref instead of asking us? So folks, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment in the comment section below. Follow James and I on our social media at Andre Sooklal. James, where can we find you?
Oh gosh, I can't remember. JMB 001. That's JM Baird, 001, I think. Can't remember. It's been so long I've been on.
Yes, folks. You know, James and I'll put it in there so you guys could find it. So, folks, it's been a pleasure. The football continues. Let us know what you think in the comment section below about the performance of Portugal and the Netherlands and who you think is going to get to the final, because it's starting to shape up, folks. So, once again, thank you for joining us. Just a reminder, everyone, for more episodes with Shaka Hislop, be sure to head over to our YouTube channel. Also, don't forget to subscribe for more updates, interviews, and content.